Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Lakin, and today I'm giving you all of the holiday baking and just some holiday food recipes as well. So I hope you guys enjoy being in the kitchen, because this is where we're going to be at all day today in this video, except it'll be multiple days, you will see. But I'm just starting off now by making some red velvet whoopie pies. So if you've been around for a while, you know that during the fall time I make pumpkin whoopie pies, and they are such a hit during the fall season. But for the Christmas season, I thought, how fun would it be to take the whoopie pies and make red velvet whoopie pies, so that way they have that beautiful red color, but they're still just that really fun holiday feel, and they're super delicious. So I'm starting by mixing up this little flour mixture, and this flour mixture consists of 2 cups of flour, and then also 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, and then 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of salt. So that is this mixture here. But we're also going to be mixing in a different bowl, like our liquid mixture, and then in our KitchenAid mixer, we're going to be doing like our butter sugar mixture, and then we're going to start combining all of these things slowly. I would say this was probably the hardest of the like baking recipes that I'm going to be sharing with you today. All of the other ones are very, very simple and easy, but this one's definitely probably I would say the more tedious one. So anywho, without further ado, let's get to making these little red velvet whoopie pies.
In a separate bowl, you are going to take 1 cup of buttermilk and 2 tablespoons of red liquid food coloring. And I found that just using like the little ones, you're just going to need 2 of those. And I actually had a little less than 2, so it still works out great. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And you're just going to mix that all together. And then in your KitchenAid, you are going to take a half a cup of butter at room temperature, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 1 egg, and mix that until smooth. And then you are slowly just going to start combining that flour mixture and that food coloring mixture to the butter sugar mixture in your KitchenAid mixer. And so then once you get all of that mixed up, you're going to put these cookies on a baking sheet. I just used a nonstick baking sheet with some cooking oil spray, and I just used like a tablespoon. You can do 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how big you want your whoopie pie cookies, because they do spread when they bake, so just be aware of that. And so I just did 1 tablespoon, but you can do up to 2 tablespoons, and you want to keep them pretty far apart because of how much they spread. So at least 1 to 2 inches apart. You're going to pop these in the oven at 350 degrees for 12 to 14 minutes. And then we will move into making the frosting for the whoopie pies.
Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close, forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la 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 la, oh, oh, la 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 la, oh, oh, la 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 la. Making our Christmas memories. I've been wrapping presents for you. I've been hanging marbles in the tree, and I've lit my house with Christmas lights, so you should come back home to me. And when we wake up in the morning, I'm gonna play those carols that you love. We'll be singing all the melodies until the sun comes up.
So I'm going to be making a cream cheese icing for these whoopie pies. And so I'm just going to start with beating 8 ounces of cream cheese into my mixer, along with a half a cup of butter at room temperature. And you want your cream cheese at room temperature as well. Once I start getting this beat and it's looking pretty smooth, then I'm going to start slowly adding in 3 cups of powdered sugar, and then also add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then this is going to be so delicious. Once your cookies are completely cooled, You can either put your icing in like a piping bag and pipe them onto your whoopie pie cookies, or you can just spoon them on or use a knife to ice them. That's what I did this time. Sometimes I'll do like the bag, but I was just trying to get a lot done for our Christmas party, so I just did it with a knife, spoon, kind of back and forth. And then also, because these are so moist and sticky, I did powder sugar the tops and the bottoms of the cookies, so that in hopes that they wouldn't stick to the platter. Some of them still did stick to the platters, but for the most part they were good, and they are so delicious.
Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hanging by the fire chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas.
Okay, so next we are going to be making some Cutout butter cookies or sugar cookies. And so I actually pre-made my dough yesterday. I've been letting it sit out so it's came to room temperature. You can see it's more malleable. And so I'm going to flour my surface, and these are definitely more fun for kids, especially if you have your older kids. You can make a bunch of different cutout cookies, and then I'm just going to be icing mine with the Funfetti icing. I'm doing green vanilla and red vanilla frosting on them, but you can make homemade frosting as well if you would choose to. I'm just going to keep it as easy as possible, but I've got lots of cookies to make, so let's get to it.
So for the butter cookie recipe, it's super easy, but it does require a lot of butter. You're going to be using a pound of butter or 4 sticks of butter at room temperature. Drop this into your KitchenAid mixer. Go ahead and get that mixing up, and then you're going to want to divide out 4 egg yolks, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then you're slowly going to start adding in 1.5 cups of sugar. And then once you get all that really good and mixed in, then you'll start adding in 4.5 cups of flour and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Once you get this all mixed up and you create your dough, you are going to roll these out at 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch thick. Pop them in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. They are so delicious. Once they come out and they're completely cooled, you can ice them and decorate them. These are perfect for children to ice and decorate, have like a little cookie icing party, or even just to have at your Christmas get together this year. These are perfect to make and have for the kids to do, or even for the adults if you're doing like a girls' night. These are so much fun, and they are perfect for holiday parties, and then also just to have for holiday gatherings.
Maybe it's crazy, but he makes it feel like Christmas every day. I wait under the mistletoe, hoping that he'll soon be knocking on my door. I keep on dreaming of his face. He just melts my heart away. I'm all glittery 'cause he makes it feel like Christmas every day. Now the winter's here to stay. All I want is his embrace. Maybe it's crazy, but he makes it feel like Christmas every day. I've been here waiting all day. Santa, are you on your way? Mistletoe under the way. Feel like Christmas every day. I've been here waiting all day. Santa, are you on your way? All year long I've been keeping track of when I've been naughty and nice. And from what I can tell, I've done more good deeds than I've told.
I cut these cookies out into so many different shapes, from mittens to stockings to Santa hats to candy canes to little trees, snowmen. They are honestly the perfect cutout cookies, and they store so nicely in the fridge. I had this dough sitting in the fridge for like 2 days before I even got to cutting them, and they're just so perfect, and they're so delicious and easy to use.
I have found the perfect tree and dressed it to the nines. I've even made little gingerbread Santas. There's nothing left to chance.
cookies in the oven baking. I've done multiple batches off camera, but my taste tester just woke up and we had one that broke when I was transporting it. So I said, well, that's gonna be the one we taste test, but without the icing on them. Do you wanna try the cookie? Let's try it.
But of course it's not true.
Do you not like it? Now you love it because it got icing all over it.
Trust me.
It's good, ain't it? We're gonna ice all of them and put sprinkles on them.
Down my chimney on Christmas Day will be eyes to see this year's Santa Claus is coming home to me. Yeah, this year's Santa Claus is coming home to me.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Not only green when summer's here, but also when it's cold and drear. Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging.
Next, we are going to be making an adorable reindeer cheese ball, and you are going to start with 2 8-ounce blocks of room temperature cream cheese. Drop this into your food mixer, and then you are going to add in 1/3 cup of sour cream and 2 to 3 tablespoons of ranch dressing seasoning. I ended up doing I think 2.5. It just depends on your taste preference, honestly. And then you're also going to add in, once you get all of that mixed up, you're going to add in 8 ounces of shredded cheddar cheese, and I used sharp cheddar cheese. Once you get that all formed, then you are going to, of course, lay out some cling wrap and put your mixture onto that, form it into a ball, and then you want this to sit overnight for honestly the best results. You can make this the day of your party if you want to make it early in the morning and then pull it out for the evening time, but for best results you want it to sit overnight. The flavors really soak in together and it is so delicious. But then once you pull it out of the fridge, that's when you're going to start making it into a reindeer, and you're going to use 2 cups of roughly chopped pecans. You're going to put this all over your cheese ball. It's so cute. And then for his little ears, you're going to use 2 pretzels. You can use the little pretzels or the big pretzels. I used the big pretzels. Once you get those placed, you can really start forming your reindeer and the shape of him. And then for his eyes, you're going to use some black olives. And for his little nose, you're just going to use a little cherry or grape tomato. And he is adorable.
Oh, Christmas tree, you'll ever be unchanging.
I have been so excited about the Christmas Bible study series, and today is finally day 1 of my Christmas Bible study series that I have put together for y'all, and I'm super excited about this. So I decided that for this year what I wanted to do was do it more sit down style, go through the study with you, read the Bible, and also the notes that I have gathered as well. And so there is actually in the description box, you can find a section that has a link that you can click on where you can print off the Bible study. So the first one is going to print off in 2 pages. You can get it colored as it'll show up, or you can print it off black and white, you know, whatever you want to do. And I hope that helps you. And then also you can take notes on these papers as well. You can put them in a binder, and pretty much what we're going to be doing is during the studies I'm going to be breaking down Jesus's birth, and then his death, resurrection, and then like him coming back again, and then him as king and everything. And so it's kind of going to be like the full story into like this little mini series that I have created, because I feel like during Christmas we're very familiar with the birth story of Jesus, and then at Easter we are familiar with his death and resurrection. But I feel like it's very important to include all of those different messages at Christmas time too. You know, he was born as our Savior, and he died to, you know, save us from our sins. But I think it's very important to do the full story, like a full circle moment at Christmas time as well, instead of just breaking it into like Christmas and Easter. And so that was kind of my motive for these series that I have put together for y'all, and I hope you really enjoyed them, because I worked really hard on them and wanted to make them very much available to y'all, where you could click that link down in the description box. It is free to you to print these off. I will say that I think for the month of December of 2024, they're going to be free. So if you're coming on after December 2024 and you want these, there will be a small fee to purchase them. Nothing expensive, just a very small fee. So if you are watching in December of 2024, make sure you go down to the description box and print these off, because they are available free until January of 2025. But so for today, the first study, now that we got like the that part out of the way, we are going to be starting with Jesus's birth. And so the first part of the series is Jesus is born. And we're going to be in Isaiah chapter number 7, verse 14. I also have wrote out all of the verses for y'all on these study guides as well. But if you're like me, you like reading straight out of the Bible as well. I like having my Bible as along with like a study guide. And so Isaiah chapter number 7 and verse 14, it says, "Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." And then if we move into Isaiah chapter number 9 and verse 6, we're going to be jumping around a lot in these studies. So that's why I would definitely recommend getting the study guide that I have made for y'all. But in Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6, it says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." And so we see here that there's many names that they are going to be calling Jesus. So he is called Emmanuel, he is called Jesus, he's called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So Jesus has many names. And I remember being a little kid in Sunday school class, and I remember one of our assignments, like take-home assignments, was to find all of the names of Jesus in the Bible, and then like also reference the verse. So that's very interesting, because he has many names. I can't remember how many exactly, but there's many names that refer to Jesus. But in Isaiah 7:14, the Bible is telling us that the Lord will give a sign, that Mary will have a son and call him Emmanuel. Or in Hebrew, Emmanuel means God with us. But if we look back even into verses 10 through 13, and we will go back to 10 through 13. So in 10 through 13, chapter number 7, it says, "Moreover, the Lord spake again unto Ahaz, saying, Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God, ask it either in the depth or in the height above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. And he said, Hear ye now, O house of David, is it a small thing for you to weary men? But will ye weary my God also?" And so in those verses, the Bible is showing us how Ahaz has refused God's demand to define a miraculous sign. which is in Isaiah chapter number 7, says, but Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. So he is refusing God's command to define a miraculous sign. And then, so this is clear evidence that God's solution to the invading armies would happen as promised, because Ahaz wanted war against Jerusalem. So if you read all of chapter 7, you are going to see that Ahaz wants war against Jerusalem. And Ahaz is an evil king of Judah. He was the son of Jotham and the father of King Hezekiah. And we all are very familiar with King Hezekiah, but we may not be as familiar with Jotham and Ahaz. But in Isaiah chapter 7 through 10, so reading through chapters 7, 9, 8, 10, we can see the results and consequences of King Ahaz's wicked ways. But Ahaz wanted war against Jerusalem, and this was because Ahaz didn't want to follow God's plan, and certainly didn't want to be faced with proof of it. But it says that now the Lord insists of giving supernatural evidence anyway. This will be a sign for Ahaz, yes, but it will also pass beyond the house of David to impact nations of the world. But if you're wanting to learn more about King Ahaz, you can reference 2 Kings chapter number 16 and 2 Chronicles chapter number 28. And it'll kind of give you more of a backstory of who Ahaz is, like what he was wanting. But we also know that King Hezekiah, he was a good king. So King Ahaz, he was evil. He didn't want to follow the Lord. He strayed away, and he got out of the will of the Lord, even though he was not raised that way. King Jotham was a good king, and there's kind of irony that Jotham was a good king. Then there came Ahaz, who was not. He did not want to follow the will of the Lord. He did not want to follow God's plan. But he later had King Hezekiah, and King Hezekiah was a good king, and he actually did good things and ruled. And so, but that's kind of like the backstory of Isaiah chapter number 7. There's so much more than just the verse 14 of the Lord giving a sign. But the Lord is giving the sign. So I feel like it gets mistaken a lot that the Lord is giving the sign to Joseph. Yes, he does give a sign to Joseph very similar to this, but he also gives it to King Ahaz as well. And so he's giving Ahaz this sign because Ahaz wants war against Jerusalem, against Jesus's people. But God is saying, like, giving him a sign that Jesus is going to be born from a virgin's womb. But he wants to try to deny this and look against it. And I feel like, and later in the study you'll see, like, Joseph kind of wants to do the same thing. He's thinking, there is no way my fiance did not just cheat on me with somebody and is a virgin. She's pregnant. Like, she's pregnant with Jesus. But he has to trust, you know, what this sign is, and like, he just has to fully trust in the Lord and God's plan. And he can't think, you know, his flesh is thinking, wow, my fiance just cheated on me. Like, you know, there's no way she's pregnant because I haven't got her pregnant. We haven't done that, you know. But so you'll see that later on in the study. All these studies are very important to like print off together and like really study them together so you can really piece them together. I'm trying to keep them short for video purposes, but there's so much goodness in these verses and in this study, and just so much history to learn in these. So now we move into Isaiah chapter number 9, verse 6. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 has been describing Israel's future, when the Lord will return light to their dark land, which we can find in Isaiah chapter number 2, verse 3. So in Isaiah chapter number 2, verse 3, it says, the people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them have the light shined. Thou hast multiplied the nation and not increased the joy. They joy before thee according to the joy in harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. And so God will bring rest, security, and abundance to them once more by breaking the oppression of their enemies. He will even bring an end to war itself, that we can find in verses 4 through 5. And in 4 through 5 it says, "For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Verse 6, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." And so this is showing us, that Jesus, the government will be upon his shoulder. So this verse begins to describe how God will accomplish all of these things by returning the light from the darkness, and he is going to break the oppression of the enemies. And he's saying here, he's going to do this through a person, a human being who will be human born. So Jesus was a real person. He walked on earth. And this is the famous verse that modern Christians tend to think of as a Christmas passage. And that's because it predicts the birth of Jesus, which is the hope of salvation for all people. However, it is also the promise of God to Israel of a deliverer, a Messiah who will restore glory and joy to their nation. This child will be the King of Israel as well as of the world. So this person Isaiah pictures is truly unusual and remarkable. He is undeniably human because he is born as a child. So once again, referencing that Jesus was a real person, but he was a perfect person while he was here on earth, which is very hard to wrap your head around because nobody's perfect. We all sin, we're all flesh. But he was flesh. He walked on the earth, but he did not sin because he was still Jesus. But it also states in this verse, that he clearly will be a king, because the verse states that the government will rest on his shoulders. And it was not unusual for kings to be given lavish titles in this era, in this time. But the titles given to this king quickly escalate. The titles start with the level of a crown prince, or specially empowered agent of God, to that of God. And Isaiah leaves no room for question. This child who will be born will be God himself. And we know that this is going to be Jesus, the Son of God, from verse number 6. "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." So that concludes part 1 of Jesus is Born. Make sure you come back to the next video for part 2, because those links will not be available until the next video. And then you will see, like I said, that all of these kind of go together. So it's a lot to take in at once. And I know I'm trying to, let's see, we're at 14 minutes. So I'm trying to condense it into a small section of this video for y'all. But there's also a lot of verses that you can reference off of these, so you can study in-depthly more. So you can go ahead and read 2 Kings chapter number 16. You can read 2 Chronicles chapter number 28 to learn more about King Ahaz and the family structure and tree of that, and how that kind of leads to David as well, and which leads to Jesus. So all of this goes together, and it's all very important information. But of course, I can't film all of that. It would take me forever. It's a whole message. But anywho, so this is the start of the Bible studies. I hope you guys enjoyed this section of the video. It's a lot of information, but it's so interesting, and the history of it. And when you really start studying all of this, you're going to find out so much more of the Christmas story that you may not have ever realized, and I think that's beautiful. So anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of this Bible study series. I think there's 2 more sections of Jesus is born, and then we will be moving into the next portion. I think there's 9 or 10 studies total, so that means hopefully the goal is to have 9 or 10 videos total with these like portions in here. But you'll have like a full binder, and I thought this would also be good that if you were homeschooling, you could even print these off, put them in like a binder for Christmas, make you like a little Christmas like Bible study series, and you can make this for your children too. You can use these printouts that I created for you for your children, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them all in a binder, and so at Christmas time for homeschool, I'm going to go over these with my son, and we are going to really learn the full history of the Christmas story rather than just like the few verses that most people are familiar with. So that way he's learning even more information. You can use it into more of like a biblical history lesson, which is a lot of fun. And you can also use like all the different people that we don't really hear mention of in these stories as well. So just keep that in mind if you are a homeschooling mama. These are going to be perfect for you to really learn that history with your children, and to really fully teach them even more, so then obviously they can pass that information on as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this section of today's video, and will join me back for the rest of the Bible study series.
For this next recipe, we are going to be making no-bake Oreo truffle balls. These are so easy and so delicious, and they're always a hit for my family. So you're just going to use 1 package of Oreos. I use the mega size, and they work great. And also 1 block of cream cheese to room temperature. Mix this in your KitchenAid mixer until you get this dough texture. Then you're just going to ball these out, throw them on a baking sheet, throw them in the refrigerator to get chilled. So as I did like 1 pan, I would throw it in the fridge, work on another pan, pull it out, and then you're just going to use this melting chocolate that is from Walmart. It's like the Great Value brand. It's like this white melting chocolate. It comes in a tray, and then all you have to do is take the tray, throw it in the microwave, and then I just roll my little dough balls in there, throw them in the refrigerator, and you have the most delicious no-bake Oreo truffle balls. Like I said, these are always a hit at my house, and also just for everybody else. So I know you will enjoy them this holiday season.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July.
Next, we are going to be making some cocktail weenies and then also some cocktail meatballs. So I'm going to start with the weenies, and what I'm using is 2 14-ounce cans of cranberry sauce. I'm dropping these into the food processor, and then I'm also using 1 40-ounce bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce in the sweet and spicy. Just putting this in the food processor, and then I'm using 4 packs of the 24-ounce little smoky weenies, throwing those in the crock pot. Then I'm just going to throw that mixture on top. I also use some of the leftover barbecue sauce too, so that way I had it all in there. Throw that mixture on top of the weenies, give it a good mix, put it on the crock pot for 4 to 6 hours on low. You can even do it up to 8 hours. They are so good. Then for the meatballs, I'm using 2 bags of the Great Value home-style meatballs. They're 48 ounces. Throwing those in the crock pot. And then in the food processor, I'm just going to do the 1 32-ounce of grape jelly and 1 40-ounce of the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sweet and spicy. Once I get that all processed, I'm going to throw that over the meatballs and give them a good stir. And again, put it on low for 4, honestly up to 8 hours. And they are so delicious. These were such a hit at our holiday party. Everybody loved them. For this next recipe, we are going to be making my most favorite chocolate chip cookies, and you can use any kind of chocolate chips that you want in these cookies. You will see that I make a regular chocolate chip batch and then a white chocolate chip batch with some Christmas sprinkles in there just to make them extra festive. But for this, you are going to want to add 1 stick of butter at room temperature to your KitchenAid mixer, also 1 large egg, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then you're also going to want to add in 3/4 cup of brown sugar and 6 tablespoons of sugar. And then you'll want to throw in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1.5 cup of flour. Once you get this all mixed in, you are just going to start forming it into your dough. At this point, I like to use my hands just to give it that, form it into that dough ball mixture. You can throw this in the fridge overnight, but if you're making this the day that you're going to bake your cookies, you can just go ahead and throw them in the oven. You do not have to chill these at all, but you can chill these for a few days as well. I made these 2 days in advance and they are perfect, but you're just going to ball up your dough, and then you can add in your regular chocolate chips or your white chocolate chips, whichever you prefer, and then you will just bake these at 350 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes, and they are so delicious. These are our absolute favorite cookies to make this time of year. I like to call them Santa's favorite cookie because they are truly just so delicious. And then once you just get that dough out, you're just going to ball it up like you would just a normal cookie dough that you would just bake. So good, and I know everybody is going to enjoy them.
And it's snowing, it's the time of year again. I'm happy you're here, my winter wonderland. No, it's the time of year, winter wonderland.
All right, so if you've made it this far in the video, then you are in luck for our first Christmas giftaway. And so for this video, I'm going to be giving away a $25 Amazon gift card along with some other goodies. You're going to be getting a cute little coffee mug, some fuzzy socks, and maybe some other things that I just throw in there for you. Might just be a little surprise. So for this giftaway, this is just appreciation for all of your love and support here on my channel. All you have to do is be subscribed to my channel, make sure you like this video, and comment down below what your favorite Christmas tradition is, and that will enter you into the giveaway. In order to find out if you are a winner, you must report back to the next video because they will be announced in the next video. So make sure you have those notification bells turned on so you do not miss the next video, so you can find out if you are a winner or not. And then if you are a winner, then you will just send me an email. My email is listed down in the description box, or you can send it. It's on the community tab as well. It's thependryhome@gmail.com. You can send me an email with your name and address, and I will get your gift sent out to you for this Christmas season. I'm super excited about this. So yes, if you want to enter this giveaway, make sure, again, you are subscribed, you like this video, and you comment down below what your favorite Christmas tradition is. I cannot wait to read through these, and I cannot wait to gift one of you a sweet little Christmas gift here from my family to yours.
All the angels are singing. They are singing for you and me. They are singing 'cause love endures. This Christmas is mine and yours. The smell.
The last little recipe that I'm going to be sharing is a charcuterie, and I'm taking a pineapple and I'm just going to use one of my star-shaped cookie cutters. You want it to be metal so that way it cuts through the pineapple, and I'm just going to cut out a star for the top of my charcuterie. Then you'll see I'm at the shop at our holiday party, and I'm taking one foam cone and I wrapped it with tin foil. I'm just sticking toothpicks all in it, and then I'm just gonna fill it with green grapes, red grapes. I cut up some pepper jack cheese and Monterey Jack cheese. I also put some prosciutto, raspberries, strawberries, and then I topped it with that pineapple star. And then we had our beautiful charcuterie, and it was so cute and a really big hit as well.
They are singing 'cause
But I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. If you did, then make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here, then don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so you can join the PendryHome family. I would love to have you here on my channel. Also, if you have any prayer requests, you can leave those down in the description box below. Or if you have a praise report, I would love to read through that as well. But until next time, bye y'all.